Hi everyone. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about anger. The reason being is that anger is an emotion that we're all familiar with, some more than others, but essentially it's something that we know is, part of human existence, part of human experience, that sometimes we can get angry or we've been angry in the past. But what exactly is anger? So I want to break down anger mainly because it's not a coincidence why in a particular moment we will actually choose to express with anger, as opposed to become stressful, get frustrated, etc., etc. So in those moments, have we considered why we actually express in anger? Okay, well, anger in a nutshell is a form of protection. But what does that really mean? Well, it's a form of protection in the sense that when something happens, or why we use it, is because we are hurt. So something occurs in a situation, maybe someone does something that we don't like, but in essence, a hurt in us gets triggered, and in that triggering, there's a moment basically where we make a choice, consciously or subconsciously. I don't want to deal with this hurt. And so what we do is we use anger as a way to harden our body. And that's exactly what anger does. It's an emotion that hardens us. And that's why we get, the classic, hardening of the fists and, the veins come up on our neck and things like that. We harden. And what we're doing is we're bracing ourselves because we've been hurt. And in that moment, we're feeling hurt. But that hardening is effectively serving to numb us from feeling that hurt in full. Yeah, which is crazy because it doesn't actually deal with the hurt, but that's what we do. And so in that hardening, we feel protected because now it's a bit like we've encased our hurt in hardness. The problem being, though, is that it's devastating to our body to be in anger. And I mean, to sustain anger. So in none of what I'm saying, I'm not saying that emotions are bad. They're part of human life. But what I'm talking about is when we get stuck in one, or when we develop a pattern where we actually use a particular emotion or a series of emotions to get through life, and we think that that's a good thing, or we think that that's what we have to do to be able to exist or survive. And what I'm presenting is that it's not actually needed. Yes, sometimes we're going to react to life, but it's not that we need to go to them as our go-tos to get through difficult situations. It is possible to respond to situations and learn how to deal with our hurts rather than just learn how to protect our hurts. One important point that I want to make in this video and be very, very clear about is that anger is not necessarily expressed outwardly. So when I'm talking about anger in this video, I'm not just talking about those that, kind of yell and scream, or they're swearing a lot or carrying on a lot in that sense. Because the fact is that most people with anger issues actually don't express anger. Well, not very frequently anyway. And so they can be very nice, very polite, but essentially what I'm wanting to talk about is that anger is a quality that we first and foremost use inside of us to, as I've said, protect our hurts. So it's got nothing to do with what it looks like on the outside, even though it can still have an outwardly appearance that is, the classic and stereotypical version of what we will call anger. But you can be angry and sit on the couch and read a book. So you can be angry and go to sleep. So anger's got nothing to do with what it looks like on the outside. It's all to do with the expression that is on the inside that has a communication coming out, but it's not necessarily in the stereotypical behaviors that we would call anger. When we are angry, the other purpose that it serves, even though it's not a true purpose, of course, but the other thing that it serves is that it gets people to back off. And, it only takes a person to explode with anger, perhaps in their family, once, maybe twice. And then everyone from there on will be walking around on eggshells around that person. So it's a very, very effective form of manipulation and control, because it communicates to everyone, back off, do not come anywhere near me, in effect, even if we're not saying that, but that's essentially what we're communicating to those around us, because we don't want people to come too close should they step on one of our hurts. So again, it comes back to protecting our hurts, even though it's completely misguided. It is not the healthy way to deal with our hurts, and yet it's super common and something that we do often in life. So when we get people to back off, the problem being is that we feel isolated, because we've isolated ourselves from others in getting them to back off. And so it can be very effective in getting people to do that, but ultimately we are the losers. We are the ones that lose out, because people learn that they don't want to get too close to you because you might snap their head off. So the whole thing is a sham, and it doesn't actually work, but it's something that we end up doing and things like that. Okay, so we've covered a little bit about the mechanics of anger in this video, but in future videos I'm going to talk about, one, if you have a problem with anger, how to actually support yourself with it, so that it doesn't rule your life essentially, and therefore play a destructive impact on everyone around you, or to those that you love, etc., etc. But also there'll be other videos that will focus more so on, if you know someone who has anger, you may not particularly use it all that much yourself, but it could be someone in your family or someone at work, and how to support them and to navigate situations where they might be angry or become angry, and how to deal with that situation when it arises. So yeah, that's just a bit of a snippet into the future, and I'll talk with you soon.